Moving next to Mr. Derrick Grayson.
My platform is a simple one. And I'll give you a scripture. If you were to read Romans 10, you get to understand why the law was too much of a burden for the children of Israel, even though they claim they love God, and that's according to Paul's testimony. But he said they didn't understand God's righteousness and sought to establish their own. And that's what the problem was. They didn't have a fidelity to God. So starting at the top of my platform is fidelity, and that includes obeying the Constitution, 100% of the Constitution, 100% of the time. Honestly, support President Trump. I mean, honestly and openly. In 2015, there were many Republicans that are now supporting Donald Trump only because it is expedient. They were not in 2015. Some of them were even in the Never Trumper group. Doug Collins didn't openly start coming out for Trump until he was told to, when Johnny Isaacson decided that he was going to give up his seat, which I told everybody he was going to do in 2015. But we need honest politicians that will do like Ryan quoted me on, name names, expose the people that are up there creating all this havoc who really don't care about the Constitution. Next, under fidelity, I will serve only one full term. Now, this particular election is to finish the term of Johnny Isaacson. Okay, so if God blesses me in that, I will do that term, but only one full term after that. I refuse to sign a pledge on term limits this time around because I know nobody is going to pass it. They just aren't going to do it. So you show people how you get different by going up and doing different, showing them you go, you do a good job, you obey the Constitution, you represent them well, and then you step down and go home, which was what was intended. So I don't need a piece of paper to go and do what it is that I have said I would do. My word is my bond. Then under money, I want us to pass the fair tax. I want us to repeal the 16th. I want us to abolish the Fed. What most people don't understand, and I don't talk about it, every time I hear a politician say, I'm going to go up and I'm going to balance the budget, they're a liar and the truth is not in them. Under our current monetary system, there is no way to balance the budget because every year they're going to increase spending. Every year they're going to increase spending. Every year, because they're going to increase spending, they're going to have to borrow more money from the Federal Reserve. And every time they borrow more money from the Federal Reserve, they're going to do a continuing resolution. And when they do the continuing resolution, the national debt is going to increase. The only way to get from out from under that is to get rid of the Federal Reserve. That's money. The Bill of Rights, I want to pass constitutional carry all across this country. People need to have the right to defend themselves. And if you don't believe me, look at Portland, look at New York, look at Chicago. I want to pass a Justice Act, something that will ensure that justice truly is blind. Because when you got enough money, justice sometimes, and a lot of times, is not blind. And part of that would be to abolish qualified immunity. And I would like to see sovereign immunity gone. Georgia had the nerve to put on the ballot, should Georgia voters allow the state to waive sovereign immunity? That shouldn't even be a question. Who are they? The king? Yet you can't sue the king. And that is the history of sovereign immunity. It needs to go away. It shouldn't be a question. It shouldn't exist. If the government wrongs you, you should be able to sue them. I want to continue with fair and balanced trade. Life. I don't think anybody understands how pro-life I am, even up to and including the point of the death penalty, because I know that man is too corrupt to be in charge of the death penalty. And Jesus exhibited that when the woman was brought to him, caught in adultery. Of course, they didn't bring the man, but Jesus said to them one simple thing. I tell you what, he that is without sin, let him cast the first stone. They dropped their bricks and they went on because Jesus knows you too corrupt to be sitting in judgment of anybody. How many black men, white men, white women, and black women have been released in the last 2 years because they were wrongly convicted and DNA exonerated them. I have counted literally 20 that have spent as much as 37 years in prison for a crime they did not commit. So I am for life, both abortion and both against abortion and against the death penalty. I want us to legislatively defund Planned Parenthood. If abortion is legal, fine, but you pay for it. Health, I want to abolish Obamacare. I want to bridle Big Pharma. I want to repeal the 86 Vaccine Act that forces our children to have to get vaccinated, whereas Big Pharma doesn't have to pay any penalties if their vaccines hurt or harm, hurt or kill our children. And I want to ensure that vaccines remain voluntary. Security, I want immigration reform. I want to legislatively fund the border wall. President Trump should not have been in office having to govern by way of executive order. That's another reason why you need somebody like me up there, because President Trump needs people that will support him openly. He should never have been impeached. There should never have been an investigation. Obamacare should have been repealed. The wall should have been funded. Planned Parenthood should have been defunded the moment he got into office, because we had the majority. And lastly, education. I want to promote STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics for our children. And I want to get the government the hell out of education, give it back to the states. And when I say the states, I don't mean state government. I'm talking about to the parents, to the teachers, to the administrators, to the counselors. They should be in charge of education, and more importantly, at the local level, because they know what's best for our children. And I do believe that there are some communities that don't want their children being taught about certain things when it comes to sex education. Let that be done by the parents at home, and teach our children things that will allow them to leave high school, not just college, but to leave high school and step into a job. That was me, and that's why I'm running GraysonForGeorgia.com. That's what I bring to the table.
Derrick, we thank